Hello, hi, welcome to Immigration Times with yours truly, Michelle Fanger, and I'm excited to be here on this platform, Jamaica.com, to talk about everything immigration. And I'll be focused on immigration happenings, such as the latest changes in the law and things that impact our community. So I'm excited to be here. A little about me, I'm an immigration attorney. I've been practicing for over 12 years, and I represent individuals all over the United States. And I do have a wealth of knowledge that I love to share, and I love to provide information to everybody in our community. So if you have questions, you could definitely send me a message. Reach out to me at admin@fangerlawfirm.com. And I'm excited today. I know we're having a lot that is happening in Florida in regards to the new changes that came about July 1st, and that is SB 1718, and that is a new immigration law for Florida. A lot of people are nervous about this law. A lot of people didn't know what to do and what was coming. And leading up to July 1st, a lot of people were very anxious. But, July 1st came, passed, and you see, none of that has happened. But we still have to be cautious, as I've always said to individuals, in regards to the laws and ensuring that we abide by the laws that exist, but there are ways to protect ourselves to ensure. This law coming in July 1st, a lot of people are anxious about one. It stated that for those individuals who may be transporting people, because human trafficking is a major issue that, affects everybody. So they're looking at individuals who are trafficking or transporting individuals without legal status, look into that. And also for individuals who might employ over 20 individuals, that they would do background checks to see if the people have their requirement to work. But that law has always existed in that employers have to do e-verification. Florida just put their own spin off it where they're implementing stricter penalties. But what was good that before this law passed, July 1st, the courts agreed that in regards to immigration, the federal government itself that governs had the right to enforce whatever immigration policies they wanted to enforce. So for the Biden administration, their main focus was to get rid of those who are a hindrance or a threat to the U.S. government, such as individuals, terrorists, people committing serious offenses like murder, drug trafficking, and these things. That was their priority. The priority for deportation was not individuals that who overstayed or who might, work, you're still required to work, have authorization to work. But the main priority was not to get rid of these minor offenses, but to get rid of people with hard, cases. So that was major because although Florida passed their law, based on my interpretation, even though they might want to put you in deportation proceedings, which is possible, the immigration itself, the federal government, Department of Justice, they're basically saying, listen, we're not going to enforce these minor things. We're just looking to get rid of individuals who commit major offenses. But although you have that where it gives a little calm, where you don't have to worry, but I always say, if you're without legal status, you still need to work on figuring out a way to legalize yourself, because there are several options available. And I always say, reach out to an attorney, talk to somebody who can provide you with that information. If I don't listen to, we're in our community, we listen to somebody, you talk to somebody, facts are different, people will have various opinions, but you need to try to speak to somebody with knowledge of the law, immigration law, that is to guide you, because there are several options available to people who are going through the immigration process. You might not have that family member to get married to, but that's not the only way to get a green card or to legalize your status through a family member, like a spouse or a child that's a U.S. citizen. But the other avenues, were you abused by a spouse and they didn't do the petition for you, you have that option. Were you a victim of a crime or witnessed a crime and was able to help law enforcement, that's an option for you. Were you a victim of a labor violation, meaning you were overworked, underpaid, or were you trafficking? Because most time people think human trafficking only has to do with sexual thing, like, oh, you're trafficking for sex, but for labor and other things. So these are the other options that are available to you. And this is what I bring out in every session, is to provide information of different reliefs that you're entitled to. But as always, I just want to clarify that is just general information. Providing information does not mean we have a attorney-client relationship as we move forward. I've always said before, I don't think it's going to be a major thing where they're implementing or enforcing these laws, but you still have to take precautionary measures. Yes, you have to look into ways on how you could, legalize your status, because there are several avenues where you could become get legal status. I know a lot of people are waiting, because before the Biden administration won, they had this pathway to citizenship that they proposed, where if you were here for a period of time, you pay your taxes and you commit certain crimes, then you'll be able to get your green card and then citizenship. But we have seen through the years that nothing has happened or progressed in regards to that. But now they're doing a new proposal similar to that pathway to citizenship, where they say too, if you pay your taxes, don't commit crime, then you're able. So we'll see where this goes. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing has been done. So if through the comments you hear people telling you, oh yes, they have this thing for you to get your green card, pay this amount of money, or this, get this benefit because you can get this identification, be very cautious, because this is what I'm going to do with my show, provide you with information, because nothing is set in stone. Nothing is being done yet where individuals don't have status will get their status, so they need to pay money. So be careful about anything that tells you to pay money, but look into it. Reach out to an attorney. You could call an attorney. You could call me, 904-930-0039, and say, is this something that really exists? I heard about this, because you have several things that you will hear in the community that is not beneficial. I will say a scam. And people are desperate. They want to get legal status. So there are things that will happen that you will think will allow you to get legal status, which will not. But the passage of this law in Florida is a wake-up call that you do need. A lot of people do sit, and I see where they're entitled to some benefits, but they don't know they are. And then sometimes the time elapses and they don't qualify anymore. So definitely reach out to see if you qualify for any benefits. One of the things that a lot of people are scared of leading up to July 1st is that they need to leave Florida because they might come in and take them. And it happens all over. As you see, there's a lot of raids. And as you see, they are filling up the planes and sending them back to various countries. Jamaica, have their set of deportees. I mean, I don't want to say deportee. It's really a bad word. I don't like using it. I do apologize. Returning residents. Voluntarily, not voluntarily return home, but returning residents to their home country. There are a lot of them going home because raids are taking place all over the United States. So wherever you go, you might be unfortunate to fall into that trap where you end up where you are being deported. So it is good to look into whatever relief you're entitled to right now. And a lot of people, I say, go through a lot of abuse situation that they're entitled to a relief. Your employer abuse you, you're entitled to a visa, which is a T visa, or a U visa. U visa is for people who are victim of abuse. Of a crime or abuse. Sometimes the abuse don't really work out, but it's a crime. So you're entitled to that relief. Or individuals are here seeking asylum, because although asylum is really a hard case to do, it's not something that's really simple that you could say, oh yeah, if I go back home, they will kill me because of my belief, or like my sexual orientation. You have to have proof of it. You can't just say stuff. You have to have proof of it. So there are ways to go around it. So that's the aim of this show, is to every week to provide you of any changes that are happening in regards to immigration, and also to give you tips on different ways on which you can navigate the system towards citizenship in the United States. I always recommend, once you get your green card, you qualify to become a citizen. Definitely become a citizen, because it's the only way to protect yourself. Because with a green card, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And you end up in deportation proceeding. I've seen children who have been here, although they have changed the law now, in regards to children getting their citizenship through their parents. But prior, like you have older pre-2008, where people have been here since they were 4 years old, 9 years old. They don't know anything about their home country. And because they didn't become a citizen, some of them weren't even aware that they were a citizen because their parents didn't tell them. And they end up in deportation because of some little offense they committed, which is sometimes the simple offense that you think is simple under immigration is major. Because I remember talking to somebody and they said to me that, and it's not reflective of your culture, so you might think it's okay in your culture, it's okay in your country. But you're in the United States, so it's a little bit different where the laws is different, plus immigration has their own thing. And I was talking to the person and they were talking and they were like, oh, it was just a little offense where it was a scuffle between the individual and the girlfriend, and he hit the girl, and it wasn't a big deal. So I don't understand how that person end up in deportation. But that's the thing. We might think it's okay, but I don't think it's okay ever to, but it's a major offense, domestic abuse, if you commit that here in the United States. And it will put you in deportation. It's one of those crimes that's a serious crime that will put you there. And also another serious offense is petty theft and all this. And these are serious offenses that it's not a brush off. So even if you end up going through the criminal court proceeding, I always recommend that you speak to an immigration attorney that actually practices immigration to get guidance before you even plead to something, because sometimes you plead to an offense and be like, okay, it's just probation or just be a little small fine, but it's okay. But then you look, immigration officer eyes comes at your door to pick you up. Or sometimes they pick you up at the courthouse and you're leaving the courthouse. So always be cautious of that and just understand that the laws that you think are okay in your home country are not necessarily okay here in the United States. And also they might have a major impact immigration-wise that can put you in deportation. Okay? If you have questions that you have and you need answered, you could definitely reach out to me at admin@fangerlawfirm.com, or you call me at 904-930-0039. And this is just an introduction of what will be coming in the future. And as I said, the structure of the show will be to provide you with information. But a nugget I want to give before I leave, I'll try to do a little nugget, meaning I'll try to give a little advice before I end the show. I'll do a few. 1, be mindful of the opinions and advice you get in regards to your case or your potential immigration case. Highly recommend, whatever you do, even if you don't hire the attorney for the full processing of your case, do a consultation. Do a consultation to figure out what's happening on your case. Yes, you could have people complete the form, submit, that's fine. But sometimes there are issues that needs to be addressed before you submit it. That will prevent you from paying extra money or deal with issues later. So speak to an attorney. You could reach out to me, admin@fangerlawfirm.com, and have a feedback on, where you're going or what needs to do. Also, speak to an attorney. If you don't think you have any relief, speak to an attorney. They'll advise you on what you could do, what steps you could take. But a lot of time I see people really have good relief, but because they listen to people who don't really have the knowledge, they end up into serious predicament. So that's one of the important things I want to say. And if you're in Florida, just be mindful that the law is the law. So July 1st, the law ceases. So you have to be cautious in what you do and be careful in what you do. And if you do have a case pending, sometimes because of the wait time and how long it's are taking, you might not have the necessary documents up front. Like you haven't gotten your work permit as yet, but you have a petition pending. I recommend definitely walk with your receipts, copies of it. So you have, especially if they see that you have a case pending, you go through immigration court. If you do, they usually, what I've seen from my experience, they usually release you, give you a court date, release you because you have a relief for you to sort out what you're doing. So just be aware of that. And I look forward again. And I'm Michelle Fanger to provide the latest happenings in immigration and also for different type of relief that you're entitled to. And I welcome you to send all your questions in if you have any questions that I could answer. But always remember that I'm not giving legal advice. This is just general information. Attorney-client relationship is not established. It's just general information.